In this matchup, we have me. I am walking out on the mat right now. I have currently a blue belt. I'm going into my 6th year in May. I am up against Laura. Laura is a white belt. She's about to be a blue belt probably any day now. She has 4 years of Jiu Jitsu training, and right now we are doing a Quasimodo intro because if you do Jiu Jitsu, you know if you don't stretch and go to a chiropractor, you're gonna look like Quasimodo. Training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu means doing what we learned in class, drilling Jiu-Jitsu techniques, and we take these techniques and we train them against a partner who's trying to fight us, giving us live resistance. I like to be playful when we roll. Training in Jiu-Jitsu is the same thing as rolling, is the same thing as grappling. What Laura and I are doing right now, we are doing a roll in which we are giving each other resistance, but we are also not going full ham. Our goal during training is to get as much movement as possible without completely wrecking our body, but also keeping the movement realistic and not just being a dead fish or giving things to each other. And right now what Laura is trying to do is she's trying to grab a single leg. She's trying to go for a takedown. And what I just did was a single leg defense where I grabbed her arms and pulled her up. What a lot of jiu-jitsu players don't talk about, as a smaller jiu-jitsu player, I find that I get very sore very quickly grappling larger people. Because of that problem, I had to figure out how to roll to get the most rolls in possible. I challenge myself before every roll to use the least amount of strength as possible. My first 5 months at blue belt, white belts who were bigger and stronger, these white belts trying to come for me, trying to challenge my belt, it's not the same thing as a beginner white belt who's just afraid. This is I'm gonna get you energy, and it can be very triggering for a competitive person. I was matching that energy level, and what was happening was every Saturday after doing 10 rounds, I was so wiped out. I had to spend the whole day recovering, and that type of rolling pace isn't very sustainable. I was asking for injuries, and I was getting injured more frequently. It was very fast healing injuries, but I still knew it was too much for my body. There was one breakthrough moment. I remember I was inside the guard of a very big, very strong white belt, and he was gripping my wrists and I was gripping his hips, and I'm looking at my hands like, why am I gripping so hard? And it was at that moment that I realized I can't match energy. I need to play so loose and relaxed, that way I can do 10 rounds with a bigger person. And that was the biggest rolling breakthrough, because believe it or not, you feel the energy of somebody. White belt energy is very contagious. Laura is about to do something to set up what I like to call a get in the van takedown. I have another video that shows the defense to this. I'll link it in the description. Right now, she is doing what is done in Muay Thai or MMA. She is using hand movements as a distraction. She uses her hands to set up a distraction to then set up the arm drag. She gets the arm drag and immediately goes backwards and does a sweep. Now, if this were a kidnapping situation, Laura would have gotten me very close to that van. A question that I get frequently from people who start jiu-jitsu is it awkward to be in such close proximity? I did ballroom dancing before jiu-jitsu, so I was already used to touching strangers. The first time I remember I ever was in close proximity to a stranger, it feels very weird because we as humans nowadays, we're not used to touching strangers. It does get normal. This is actually what helps you in self-defense situations. Typically, self-defense situations, when we think about it, we think about a stranger coming out and attacking us, when in reality, it's typically somebody we already know. Right now what I'm doing is what is called a walk around. This is very useful in order to maintain a top position. What I am doing is I am transitioning from different top side controls. This position is north-south. From north-south, you can then go to a side control, which I'm in now. From side control, what you can do is you can raise your knee and slide across the torso. This puts you in mount. And then from mount, you can then switch to a side control on the other side, which I'm trying to do right here. I just transitioned from mount to side control. And now I am going for an arm triangle choke from side control. And this is set up when anybody has their arm up above your head and you can get your head inside their armpit, then you have the first step of the setup. I then grab around her head and do a headstand leap over to get to the other side to avoid getting trapped inside her legs. And right now one side of her arm is pressed up against her neck and my biceps on the other side, so that's what's cutting off the blood flow to her brain. This is great for self-defense because this is lethal if you keep on holding. And one adjustment that gets the tap is when I put my knee into her hip. That adjustment, if you're ever trying to choke somebody out with a head and arm choke, also called an arm triangle choke, that is a tip. That's the secret sauce tip right there. It was great spending time with you today, and I enjoyed making this video for you. If you enjoy spending time with me, I welcome you to subscribe, and until next time.